How you doing? And welcome to my channel. Now, if it's your first time here, please hit that like and subscribe. Now, today I'm taking a look at the latest iteration of Ace Ventura by Asmus Toys. This is the 3.0 or the 4.0. 4.0 on the head sculpts, I think, but you can see there online store exclusive from Asmus. You can only get this on the Asmus store, online store itself. You can't get it anywhere else. Just having a look at the box, you can see it's the cover off the movie there with Ace Ventura on the front, Ace Ventura written on the side, and then some warnings on the back. Now, this is a slip cover. It is a bit difficult to get off. I'll try and get it off. There we go. Just pull it off there. And there you can see there's more Ace Ventura on the back with Asmus Toys written on it. And then we have him again at the front. Obviously, he's not in the box anymore. But that's it for the box. So let's have a quick pan of the figure itself before I get into the meat and potatoes of him. So here we have our Ace Ventura figure as he's dressed coming out of the box. Just a quick pose there I've done. You can see I have the seamless arms there, and just at the quick look at the head sculpt there, anybody who's seen the previous iterations or attempts by Asmus Toys of Ace Ventura, this is a much better version. You know, the head sculpt is a vast improvement on any previous ones that they done. So let's get into the accessories and everything that come with him, and in my usual fashion, I suppose I'll start from left to right. We have his alternate Hawaiian shirt. Now, if I'm not mistaken, this is the Hawaiian shirt from the third act, from the third act in the movie. It's quite well detailed as far as I can remember. It is very accurate, and underneath we have his tank top as well, his spare white tank top, and then we have his trousers that go with that particular shirt, the pinstripe red and black trousers. They look quite nice, quite well, quite nice material, not too bad. And then we have a belt. The belt is terrible, really poor quality belt. It's not going to last him very long. But that does go with that outfit, because he does have a belt on him already as well on the other outfit that he's wearing. And if I just bring this in a bit closer, you can see he has his Ace Ventura Pet Detective business card. And we do have 5 of them in total. And they are to scale and printed quite clearly and quite well. And then we have his sunglasses. There is a little bit of translucency to them, only a little bit. They're very Terminator-ish. They look well on a Terminator figure, to be honest. And just a quick look at him with the glasses on. They don't fit him entirely well. You can see the way they don't. There's no groove for them to fit into or anything. So there's a little bit of futzing to get them even to look like that, the way they are. They're not really, on him quite well. But moving on, then we have his second pair of arms that come with him. These are the exposed jointed arms. He does come with the seamless arms as well that are on him. But these are specifically for dynamic poses, bent elbows, without risking tearing the seamless arms, which are, used for museum posing, I suppose. But there you go, the spare arms there if you want to do any silly dynamic poses with him. Which is a nice little feature for them to add those spare arms, And then another thing I want to point out is the hands. The hands are quite unique. There's a few gestures there that are quite unique. We have this quite unique. If I can get this to focus in, there we go. We have an unusual gesture in hand there. I'm not sure what kind of gesture he's making there. You can see it's speckled there and it's painted quite well. We have another gripping hand there. Then we have an unusual hand again, a pinky hand. Please focus for me. There we go. It's trying to focus in on other things, but we have an unusual pinky hand there. And then we have kind of a finger snapping hand. Yeah, that's like a finger snapping gesture. So they are like really nice. And you can see they're quite pliable. There's absolutely no problems with them getting, clipping in and out of the arm. They clip in quite well. And then we have a card holding hand, and he does have another pair of hands on him as well. So 4 pairs of hands. He definitely has enough hands to do the job, especially for the amount of accessories that he actually has, which is little to none, just the card and the sunglasses. I would have liked to see him with a couple of animals, a parrot or a dog or something, But, that's exactly the same as what we got in any previous iteration. They haven't upgraded or updated anything else. Even the clothing, I think the clothing is exactly the same as previous. I did the last one anyway. But just having a quick look at him there, we'll have a look at his stand. You can see that his stand is just basically replicates what's written on his business card. Some of these companies don't even give stands, and I've gotten figures off. Have I gotten a figure off Asmus? No, they always give a stand days, Asmus. But some companies don't, so it's nice that we got one. But starting off in my usual fashion, from bottom to top, we'll have a look at his boots. Now, if they weren't scuffed up or dry brushed there, they would look very dollish. They are completely movie accurate. You can see there's a nice bit of detail to them as well. They do have all these kind of creases in them. They're molded quite well. They have the accurate buckles in it there where they did have them in the movie. And like I said, there is some like dry brushing and scuffing around them, which really adds to them. I think if that wasn't on them, they'd look very dollish or very toyish. But nice overall. I can't complain about them, to be honest. And they are scaled quite well, which again, previous attempts weren't at all scaled well at all. And if I can get that to focus, you can see it just says Asmus Toys on the flat sole, which I believe is movie accurate. And then moving up to his trousers, we have his pinstripe black trousers with it looks kind of like a white pinstripe running through, which I think is accurate. I think it is that predominant. It does stand out that much in the movie. I'd have to look back, but the pinstripe is quite accurate on the trousers. They look quite well. There's no weathering or scuffing on them. I don't think it's really necessary. I think he's quite clean all the way through the movie, really. Same all the way around. No pockets on the back. I don't think there was any. I'm not sure. You can see he does wear a belt, and those trousers go really, really high. I'll just lift that t-shirt up there, and you can see how high. Oh, there goes his arm. Lovely jubbly. You can see there, just while I have that off, I suppose, you can see where it sockets in for changing out the arms. And I would imagine if you change those arms often, it will loosen that socket and there'll be no raising the arms at all, I'd say. So it's basically choose your arms and don't change them that often. But there we go. Where was I? Back to the trousers. Let me just lift up his tank top there, and you can see how high they go. They go really high up over his belly button. But they do have the drawstring in them, which I think is accurate, and they do have a belt there, you can see. And he has some buttons. And as you can see at the side there, he also has his pager attached to his belt. And now it's not clipped in, it's actually looped around the belt. So, yeah, there you go for the trousers. Oh, on the buttons that, go they're very, very spaced out, those buttons. I don't think that's accurate. And as I said again, he has another tank top, or his wife beater, as some people would call it. As for the body, you can see there that the neck is seamless. It's got a rubber upper to not have a seam in it, and it's done quite well. I'm quite pleased with that they've done that. And you can see the body is really thin body, which is extremely accurate to Jim Carrey. He was very skinny back then, or very thin, and he actually still is. So the body, I'm really impressed with the proportions of the body for Jim Carrey and the way the neck all looks. And here we have the shirt, the Hawaiian shirt that he's wearing in the first act, I believe. The print is accurate to the movie. I just think that the print, just looking at photos before I done the review, the print is just in the wrong place. Like I said, the print is spot on. I'd imagine all the shirts that come out for this guy, the print is in different places. But just looking at this little print here, should really be up on the shoulder up here, and there should be another one of it just around this area here. In the movie, that's where they are, but the print is accurate. But, it does the job. It absolutely looks accurate to the movie. And, yeah, again, no, it's just not vibrant enough. But looking at his left hand, you can see he has his, again, movie accurate watch. And just looking at the hands there, the other pair of hands that I mentioned earlier on, which is one for holding the card and another one there that is an odd gesture. I'm not sure what kind of gesture you would call that, but you can see it there. And you can also see that there is a slight little difference in the color of the arm to the hands, just moving up actually to the seamless arm. Done quite well. You can see there's a bit of definition in them there, but the color difference, it's not so bad to the naked eye, but on the camera it looks worse. But it definitely is a difference. And you can see the arm there is, you know, it has him a little bit more tanned than he should be. He shouldn't be that tanned. He should be paler than that for sure. But again, there you can see just the tiniest little difference between the color of the arm and the hand. His arm should be closer to the color of the hand. Really, he should be paler and not so tanned. And then moving up to the head sculpt, I suppose we'll get into the details of the head sculpt. Just get him a bit more stable. Actually, what I'll do is I'll change the outfits. I'll put the other outfit on him first before we have a look at the head sculpt. Right, just in the process of taking or changing the outfit and, you know, putting the second outfit on, and I've just come across a bit of an issue. These trousers are glued on, not in the sense that you might initially think, meaning that this belt is glued on, you know, the excess is glued on, and like I said earlier, this pager isn't clipped on, it actually loops through the belt. So in order to get that belt off, you actually have to tear the glue and probably destroy the belt to get those trousers off. And I don't want to do that because I do what I pose in wearing these trousers. So at the moment, as it stands, I'm not willing to cut that belt off just yet. I don't really know what Asmus Toys' point was here for gluing this down. Because, you know, they give you two outfits, but yet they make it so that you actually have to damage something to get the trousers off. So it's a bit of a nuisance. I'm not about to do it just to try them on, you know. So yeah, I'm just going to leave these trousers on for now. But looking at the arms there, you can see I've changed the arms over to the jointed arms just to show you with them on. And you can see there that they appear to be double jointed arms. They're designed like double jointed, but they're actually not. They, you know, I'm struggling there to bend the arm, and I realized that that's as far as it goes. That's actually as far as it goes. So, like I said, it appears to be a double joint, but it's actually not. It you know, it does go further than a single joint, obviously, but it doesn't go as far as your average double jointed arm. Just looking at the legs are double jointed and will go into pretty much any dynamic pose that you're looking for. The body itself, it's okay, it's acceptable, it's not super loose. None of the joints are super loose. And as I said earlier on, the proportions for the width of Jim Carrey are fantastic. And just having a look at the upper part of the body, you can see it is rubberized down to here to make the neck seamless, and I'm delighted with that. That looks great. I'm not sure if previous iterations had that. I think the last one did. I think this is except with the exception of the head sculpt, I think this is the exact same figure as the previous one. So here we have him in with his other shirt on. I didn't change the trousers, obviously. The other shirt and the other arms basically on him there, and you can see the sleeves of this one are longer, so therefore they cover up the joints in the arms more than I expected them to be honest with you. Not so much on the bottom of the arm when it's raised, but still better than I expected it to look, to be honest with you. Yeah, so they work quite well with that particular shirt on. So let's have a look at the sculpt, and I'll get them a bit more stable, and we'll get focused in on this head sculpt. Okay, so here we go, taking a look at the head sculpt. And I do want to point out or add that I have to hand it to Asmus Toys for even taking a crack at trying to do this guy. Now I know it's their fourth head sculpt. Their last ones were terrible. But the fact that Jim Carrey's face is made out of rubber is fantastic. That these guys even made, one that even remotely looks like him, because I would say it's very difficult to do a head sculpt of Jim Carrey convincingly, because he has so many faces, that guy. He has so many expressions, and trying to find an expression to go for as well would be difficult for them. Now, he is a bit darker than he appears on the screen. I do have light shining on him, but he is a bit darker, a little bit too dark in the skin tone. And he's a bit over speckled as well. Just see if I can bring it down a bit and get the skin tone a bit more accurate. That's probably about the best I can get it. But yeah, he's a little bit over speckled as well. I mean, it was 1994. Jim Carrey was quite young, and the speckling just makes him look a little bit older. But the sculpt isn't perfect, but it is absolutely 10 times better than any other attempt they've made. Just having a look at the hair detailing, it's not great. It hasn't got a fantastic amount of depth to it, but it definitely has the style that Jim Carrey had. You can see some of the separations in it where the paint is a bit lacking. Could do with being a bit touched up. And you can see the separation lines and the seam lines, but all around it's not too bad. It's not too bad at all. Like I said, you can see some of those seam lines there where it's all put on separately. And I do believe, I'd have to look back again, but I do believe that the hair is a little bit lighter than it should be. Jim Carrey's hair is a little bit darker than that. You can see at the front there where it just lightens up, becomes a little bit lighter than it should, in my opinion. I think it's a little bit browner than it should be. But it's not, it's not a deal breaker. It's not the end of the world. But I do believe, the more I look at it, I think if the hair was a little bit darker, it would add to, if the hair was the colour of his eyebrows, it would add to it looking like Jim Carrey. The paint applications could be slightly better, absolutely, but they're not too bad. And looking at the teeth there, they look absolutely fantastic. They look great, and just everything blending in with that seamless neck looks great. There is a little bit of a gap there, as you can see, guys, but overall, I'm really impressed with it. I'm quite happy with it. And I suspect that the reason why the paint on the sculpt is a little bit darker than it should be is because of the body. The body is a little bit darker, and they've obviously painted the sculpt to match the body as best as they can. Just looking at the lines on his face there as well, guys, you can see there that it just has all those Jim Carrey lines. Like I said, guys, this is an Asmus Toys exclusive. You can only get this on the Asmus Toys website. You do have to go to their website to get this. And there is the Shady Acres version coming out fairly soon, which I do believe has this head sculpt in it. So it's great that Asmus put this head sculpt in the Shady Acres version, so that way if you do have the previous terrible iterations, you can get the Shady Acres version and pop that head sculpt on, which will completely change and update any previous version of the Asmus Ace Ventura that you would have had or would have. So yeah, I'll be getting the Shady Acres version as well. I think he looks absolutely fantastic. So there you have it, guys. I'll leave you with some photographs. Please hit that like and subscribe, and keep your eye out for future content. Thanks a lot. Take care.